Hey, I'm Shaye Koester-Wanner, and you are listening to the Casual Cattle Conversations podcast. Whether you are a seasoned rancher or just curious about the cattle world, this podcast dives into the stories, science, and strategies shaping the future of ranching. Let's get started and keep your herd ahead of the herd. Folks, this is going to be a short and valuable episode today about something that is really important to me, feeling successful as ranchers. This topic can be taken from a lot of different angles, but ultimately I want to address it from the standpoint of how to quit feeling behind on the ranch. We are going to take the time to talk about this, and I'm really going to provide some actionable advice that works for myself and my husband. So let's dive into this a little more. What I see from my perspective is that many ranchers possess the same characteristics as high-achieving or high-risk taking entrepreneurs, because we are. And there are a multitude of amazing traits like passion, grit, resilience, and innovation that come with this. But ultimately, there are also some difficult traits too. Specifically, not realizing how successful you already are. This can look like measuring how far you have to go and striving for more, instead of celebrating and recognizing how far you've already come. Personally, it's easy for me to look at our operation and say, why haven't we planted any more trees for windbreak? Why don't we have a tight enough calving window? Why aren't our calves uniform enough? Why isn't our nutrition program a little more dialed in? But focusing on this really completely diminishes all the work and changes that we have done and just makes me feel behind. Truthfully, our calving window is tighter than it was last year and the year before that and the year before that. The calves look better than previous years. Our nutrition program is more complete than years past, and we are doing a lot of different things. Also, there's always changes and new ideas and advice in a lot of these spaces, so we are all continuously learning. We can't expect ourselves to be experts in every single area of ranching. Now, when I think about feeling behind, that's all in perspective. Behind what? Behind who? Are we behind in the industry? I really don't think so. Are we behind the neighbors? The neighbors' goals are different than ours anyways. They're in a different place in life. Are we behind our own ideals? Well, it's not a bad thing to have big goals. Honestly, taking the time to look back and recognize how far we've come is a huge relief to me. I can see that we are making progress, and as long as we are making progress, are we actually behind? Grazing without limits and ranching without boundaries. Unlock the full potential of every acre with SenseHub Fence, the smarter way to manage your cattle herd. Cut costs, conserve resources, control grazing across even the toughest terrain with virtual fencing that combines real-time herd data with powerful hands-off precision. Profit, sustainability, and efficiency, all in one system. SenseHub Vents puts smarter grazing at your fingertips, saving you time, effort, and money compared to traditional fencing. Ready to transform your ranch? Learn more at ventsfence.com, and that link is in the show notes. We all know nothing goes as planned on the ranch. We can make 1, 5, and 10-year goals, but droughts, market conditions, family events, and countless other uncontrollables can accelerate or decelerate these plans. Now, you might be saying, I thought we were talking about measuring backwards, not creating plans. Well, it all matters, but I want to talk a little more about this principle of measuring backwards first. And that's one that I picked up from the book, The Gap in the Gain. It was written for entrepreneurs, but the more I read it, the more I see how it relates to ranchers such as myself. I'd highly encourage you to read it or listen to it. Now, let's talk about some actions we can take to stop feeling so gosh darn behind. Tired of accounting software that wasn't built for ranching? Ambrook is the smart, simple tool that helps farmers and ranchers manage their finances like a pro. Is the pasture you're renting paying you back for the lease? Is your hay making or losing money, factoring in what you save for using it as feed? Is that old piece of equipment worth the maintenance costs? Ambrook can help you answer these questions and works on any computer or smartphone, so you can manage it on the go. Visit ambrook.com/casualcattle to try it for free for 1 month. That's ambrook.com/casualcattle. Let's start with an easy one. I want you to take a second to think about where you were when you started. What's the same and what's different? How have you matured? Maybe you even want to take this a step further and dig out some old pictures. Now, once you've thought through this and recognized what's all changed, thank yourself and celebrate how far you've come, even if it's not exactly where you imagined you'd be. Another step you can take is writing down your goals. I know we are talking about measuring backwards, and I just said that goals don't always go as planned. And that's true, but that doesn't make them pointless or irrelevant. In fact, it can make it all the more important to set goals. When we write down our goals and date them, we know exactly what we are working toward. When we just keep them in our heads, they are constantly evolving, and we may never truly reach them, even though we may have already surpassed a goal. We just didn't realize it because we kept moving that goal out farther and farther without ever writing it down. Now, goal setting does not have to be fancy. It can be as simple as defining what you want to achieve and by when. I like to take a more structured approach to it by outlining different areas of the operation that need more improvement than others, and creating 1, 5, and 10-year goals. I usually start in reverse order, though, by asking where don't we want to be in 10 years? And then from there, the 5 and 1-year goals fall into place, as well as the different areas of the operation that need a little more attention and focus in the years to come. While I've only been doing this specific method for a few years now, I'm really excited to look back in a few more years to see just how far we've come, because it's already proving to be effective for Philip and I. And if you want to use the same system we use to help not feel so far behind and keep moving your place forward, you can access that PDF on my website. It's called Move the Ranch Forward, and it will walk you through everything. With that, remember to celebrate how far you've come and create your own definition of success. Measuring backward and against yourself is far better than measuring how far you have to go and against your neighbors or others. Remember, the best way to support this podcast or other podcasts is to leave a rating or review and share with a friend who needs to hear this message today. Also, I'd love to hear your feedback and advice or thoughts on this topic. I want to know what works for you. But with that, happy ranching, folks.